But we welcome in Brett Hollander. Congratulations, man. You're part of this deep depth team, right?
We all got the shirts now.
We all got the shirts.
Yeah,
we match.
He's got his MASN shirt on.
It's a great place to be. Florida, sunshine, baseball, tough to beat, and two great guys. Why wouldn't I want to stop by here?
Well, you're going to be involved, and people are going to hear and see a lot of you throughout this baseball season. And I know nobody's more happy about that than you, a kid who grew up in Baltimore, who had a passion for the Orioles, and now to be a part of this thing, you got to be thrilled.
I got a cassette tape, Scott, leaving Camden Yards one day. Chuck Thompson's greatest hits. I wore that bad boy out every night. I think I listened to it every night for 3 consecutive years going to bed. So, yeah, dreams do come true, Scott. No question about that.
Great to have you on board, and give the people a little preview of some of the things you're going to be doing this year.
Well, what I really like about it, what makes it special beyond just covering the team I grew up living and dying with, the variety of it. I'll be doing a lot of Orioles Extra this year, pre and post game, a lot of sideline reporting, in-game, and even some radio play-by-play over the course of the 6-month campaign. So a lot of variety, and I think it's all going to be a whole lot of fun to cover.
Well, we all know what's happening here. It's a building from the bottom-up process that started a while ago, and it probably still has some life, but tracking some of these young players. We just saw a kid that pitched at Loyola, Bruce Zimmerman, strike out the side last inning. It's going to be fun to watch some of these guys, from Adley Rutschmans through the Zimmermans.
You know, on my way here thinking about some of the players I really was excited to see. It's such a deep list. It's not just Adley. Obviously, guys like Rutschman and Hayes will grab a lot of those headlines. I'm really curious about players that we know who are due to take the next step. Tanner Scott, obviously among them. Guys like Miguel Castro, is it his time? Even the Brandon Kleins, who's off the 40-man roster. Dylan Tate. You can get competitive really quickly if you can build arms in the back end of a bullpen. And they have a lot of arms. But the question is you guys know, and Mike, we were talking about this, can they take the next step? But it's not really a question of talent in my mind with a group like that.
No, absolutely. I think you probably know the Orioles a pretty unique situation with the minor leagues being so close to home, right? So
look at that P on Diaz, right? Oh, goodness.
That's the tools they're talking about.
Yeah, Diaz out in right field, and he has got a hose. You run on that one, you may pay. Hey, we were chatting earlier prior to the game, and you had a good Mike Bordick story, right?
This is a good Mike Bordick story. Mike Bordick, who in 2000 at the trade deadline was moved. He's having a career year. I think it's fair to say, Michael?
Absolutely.
You're having a career year with the Orioles, and the Orioles had fallen out of contention, as typically happens around late July. Bordick is moved to the New York Mets. The next day, I happen to be on a car trip with my parents and my family. We're driving to New York City, and I'm like, I think we're in range to catch New York Mets radio. I turn on New York Mets radio. The first thing I hear is a Mike Bordick home run in his first at-bat as a New York Met. And actually, our car on the New Jersey Turnpike erupted out of excitement.
How did we get rid of that guy?
How did we get rid of that guy?
What's so special about a Bordick homer? That's all he did was
dime a dozen. He could pick him at short, and then he was the guy usually wanted to intentionally walk Scott. So
yeah.
But how about that homer? Do you remember that? We were talking about that earlier.
Oh my gosh, you kidding me? That was one of the highlights of my career.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't hit many there at Shea Stadium. I hit a few at Camden Yards, but Shea Stadium played a little bit bigger than Camden for sure.
Do you remember who it was off of?
No, I don't, but I know it was off the Cardinals because Tony La Russa was the manager over there, who was my manager.
Your old friend.
Came up, exactly. It was a fun year, though, because I ended up going to the World Series, obviously, and taking on the Yankees.
Yeah, I was thinking about a lot beyond my Mike Bordick memories, which run very deep, as you can imagine, Scott. Thinking about just a lifetime of Orioles memories, and there are so many obvious ones. If you were fortunate enough to watch, listen, or be at 2131 on September 6, 1995, but even
recently, how about the Delman Young?
Of course, that jumps
Tigers,
out.
Yeah.
I think about September 6, 2012. I was thinking about this on the airplane the other day on my way to Sarasota. Matt Wieters hits a home run. It was Cal Ripken night at the ballpark. We all woke up. It was after Labor Day, and we're like, this team is in contention. And Wieters hit a 3-run homer off the Yankees in the first inning. And if there was a lid on Camden Yards that night, it would have blown clear off. And I was thinking about this one. That 97 wire-to-wire club was so good. It will honestly be. They did not win a championship, as we all know, but 98 wins in those days, going wire to wire, beating the Mariners, which were as stacked as any team in that divisional round series. Mussina beats Johnson twice in 4 games. Amazing. Well, great to be on board, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great to have you, Brett.